calls for a ceasefire in the Middle East are growing as Hamas signals it would end its attacks if Israel meets its conditions. But Israel is showing no sign of letting up. With more airstrikes in Gaza overnight, at least 200 people have been killed and 58,000 have been displaced due to the violence. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman joins me live now from Israel with the latest there. Matt, what's going on with these ceasefire deliberations? Where are we with that?
There are proposals coming from all over the place, Diane. One of them, as you mentioned, came from Hamas itself. It's got two primary conditions, both of which Hamas is aware that Israel will refuse to meet. The first is no incursions into the Temple Mount. That's where the Al-Aqsa Mosque is. That's probably not going to happen. The other is that Israel not evict the two dozen plus families that live right down this street, just beyond this checkpoint. Now, I'm in East Jerusalem. And there is a controversy over these particular homes. Israeli Jews say that they used to belong to Jews before 1948. They want them back. These people say, well, we've been living here. You can't just evict us. And this is one of the triggers for this conflict. It's very unlikely that Israel would just allow them to stay. This is a case that is winding its way through Israel's court system, but we won't have any adjudication on it for at least a month. So this is going to go on. In the meantime, as you mentioned, Hamas rockets landing in Israel today. Israel overnight with a massive bombardment, at least 52 airplanes, 25-minute long airstrike on what it said were Hamas tunnels in the Gaza Strip, also targeting Hamas leaders. So right now, it's unclear how close we really are to a ceasefire, despite all of that mounting pressure from the Europeans, from Middle Eastern Arab countries, and, of course, from President Biden and the U.S. as well.
And, Matt, as this all continues, the death toll is rising. Thousands of people are being displaced by the violence. So where are those people going?
Some of them are staying in UN shelters. Some of them are staying with family in Gaza. A lot of them don't really have a place to go. Gaza is one of the most densely packed places on Earth. It's 140 square kilometers, which is square miles, which is the exact same size as the city of Philadelphia. So when we talk about hundreds and hundreds of airstrikes over the past 10 days, it gives you an impression of how everybody has essentially felt them, even if not every building in Gaza has been destroyed. And that's certainly not the case. But enough have, as you mentioned, to leave almost 60,000 people homeless. So very difficult situation in the Gaza Strip. The infrastructure there has been crippled. Sewage, water, pretty much defunct at this point. Electricity is running extremely short, as is fuel. Now, Israel allowed in 5 fuel tankers yesterday. Maybe that's enough to keep some of the hospitals going, but we are told they are facing a critical shortage of fuel, which means no generators. And again, hospitals can't operate with at least the generators working. So they are reaching critical situations there in Gaza.
All right. And Matt, Palestinians across the region, they've joined in this unprecedented strike to protest the violence. What's it like there right now?
Well, you see some young Palestinian boys speaking with the police behind us. This was really the locus of a lot of those protests yesterday, certainly here in Jerusalem. There was actually an attack against these police officers, not these particular, but another group a few days ago. A car just rammed right into them before these concrete blocks were there that you see behind me. That's why they installed them. So this is really the flashpoint where those Palestinian families face eviction. And really what made this unique is that it's kind of the first time in history, and I've been covering this story for over 20 years, that all Palestinian factions, Hamas, Fatah, in the Gaza Strip, in the West Bank, in Israel proper, in those mixed Arab-Jewish towns, got together and said, hey, we're going to show a show of force today. We are going to tell Israel this is unacceptable. The Israeli Palestinians with Israeli citizenship, basically saying also stop treating us like second-class citizens. We demand our rights. That was very unique. We haven't seen anything like that, perhaps ever, Diane.
All right, Matt Gutman in Israel for us. Matt, be safe. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.